Good afternoon, my beautiful babes and babettes. I make a video. I'm your resident active advocate. Okay, so where have I been? Okay, I went on unofficial hiatus because we had a death in my family quite recently, about 2.5 weeks ago, of someone quite close to me. I don't mean immediate family. I'm not talking parents or siblings here, but we were very close. And I will miss them until the day my heart stops beating. So that's all I'm going to say about that. I have not been in a very conducive to making videos emotional state for the past little while, for obvious reasons. And I am also not there yet. Not just because of the emotional stuff, but also for other reasons. Number one, I think I might be taking a bit of a Twitter hiatus as well, or else at least poking around for other people to talk to, because I need some ideas, I think. Basically, to segue into this, I had 2 different conversations with 2 different people that sort of spurred on my current mental process, okay? One of them, this person was on YouTube, comes on to a video I made quite a long time ago about disability and infantilization and said, this is really good. Can I see more like this, please? And I'm like, okay, well, what do you want? The other conversation, and I'll get back to that one, I promise. The other conversation I had was with someone I know on Twitter, and I don't know how exactly we got into this argument, but they were saying to me, and I agree with them, just because you've had a hard life or just because you've experienced hardship does not mean that anything you've gone through is supposed to be considered systemic abuse. I agree with them on that. Certainly not me personally. And I said to them, no, I agree with you, because basically, since the literal Holocaust, people have not been trying to kill people with disabilities en masse. Okay? Number one, there's more than one way in which to be systemically abused. Number two, that's actually not true. I just remembered about this literally 5 minutes ago, but there was, and may still be, a campaign of sorts going on in, it's either Denmark or Norway, where women are encouraged to abort any child who shows signs of Down syndrome. There have been abortions made on false pretenses due to, it's not a government mandate, but it was like more of a social pressure thing. But at the same time, I am pro-choice, but please don't abort people on the basis of disability. Okay? That, to me, is eugenics. All right? Just to me, that is eugenics. And what is astonishing to me is that this is happening, or was happening, in a nominally socialist country. I am a dyed-in-the-wool socialist. I will die a socialist, okay? Not gonna change my mind on that one. But it got me thinking. Earlier on this channel, a couple of weeks ago, a couple of months ago, whatever, I'd been reading through all these little minute persnickety details of different, lawful courses of action to take to fight disability discrimination. But the thing is, it's not exactly a law thing. It's an attitude thing. It's always been an attitude thing. People have been trying to kill us or hide us away or, exclude us in some way, shape, or form, or multiple ways, shapes, and forms, literally since ancient Sparta. We're going back quite a ways here. We've come a ways since then. We have. Sort of. Ancient Sparta, if a child was born with what the Spartans perceived as a defect, the child would be exposed on a hill and left to die. Nowadays, we can find the so-called flaw before the child is even born, and eugenics is technically illegal in Canada. So I'm really confused as to why that's actually legal in a much more socialist than us country. So it gets me thinking, this isn't a based on the law, based on the banner under which you form your government kind of thing. This is an attitudinal thing. It's always been an attitudinal thing. My best friend slash advisor on these videos is a very trees-based person. I'm a very forest-based person. I can be trees, and she can be forest. I'm just talking in general terms. So we both agreed that it was probably a good idea for me to go through these different policies and to see, A, what's wrong with them, B, what can be improved, and C, why Canada still sucks. But here's the thing. This is not policy-driven in my mind, okay? It probably is policy-driven to a certain extent, but not in the overarching, big picture of things. This is an attitudinal thing. I think that she would agree with me on this, but she would also say, okay, you can't shift attitude without shifting the law. I would say that the laws don't matter unless you shift the attitude. You see, though, that this is a snake eating its own tail kind of argument, and neither of us would disagree with the other, by the way. It's all fundamentally circumstantial, but to me, anyway, because I am, in general, a big picture person, this boils down to an attitudinal shift. You literally cannot legislate an attitudinal shift. You can't, because you can't legislate common sense. We all know that saying. So, what I'm going to do is to declare an official hiatus until after the new year. I got some research today. I was saying that I was thinking of taking a Twitter break, but really what I want to do in terms of Twitter is, if you watching this right now are on Twitter, or if you want to leave your thoughts down in the comments, I really want to know, especially if you are a person with a disability or know or are related to a person with a disability, what are the barriers you face? And why do you think, you personally, why do you think you face them? I wouldn't mind sharing some anecdotes, some stories from not only myself but other people. I will not mention names. I will not even mention genders or sexes. It will just be they. For insofar as I can tell people's stories, I'm not going to link it to any particular person or identity. So if you are comfortable leaving your stories with me, I would like to share. And yeah, I can attempt to get stories out of people I know IRL in real life, and see what I can do about those. But then I think that with these different narratives, because like different disabilities face different systemic challenges, we can kind of tie together a more cohesive narrative of why things are the way they are, A, and B, what could potentially be done to change them. Because we have gotten better in a lot of regards. Mostly they're not trying to murder us anymore. And mostly they don't institutionalize and forget about us anymore. But we are still overlooked. I think it's only about 10% of fully blind people who can find consistent employment in Canada. Yeah, I just said 10%. I don't know if that's actually accurate. I gotta double check. I'm pretty sure that's the stat, but again, gotta double check. So that's a really big problem. Why are people with disabilities overlooked so consistently and so thoroughly and so absent-mindedly? That's the part that really bothers me. It's like you're not even important enough to think about. We will put down in our legislation all of these cushy little laws that appear to be for your protection and betterment, but when they're not implemented, we won't really do anything about it. That's the problem I've got, all right? It needs to be a systemic change in terms of the actual on-paper law. Yeah, because those also suck. But you're not going to get people to listen to any updated form of law, any more humane or humanist form of law, without the corresponding attitudinal shift. You need both sides of this coin, both sides of this story. And since I am a big picture person, I'm going to be focusing on the attitude side. So please and thank you, if you will, share your stories with me on YouTube and or Twitter, if you're comfortable. If not, I can draw from other sources, at least at first. But that, I think, is going to be my New Year's project, to begin this big sort of changing the landscape kind of project. And I'm looking forward to it. I hope you are looking forward to it as well. Very happy holidays. I will not see you before then. And have a lovely rest of your year. And I'll see you in the new year. Thank you for your lovely attention and participation, and I'll see you later. Bye. Mwah.